The Tale of Scheherazade. In ancient Persia lived a king named Shahryar, who ruled his kingdom with a bitter heart. After discovering his first wife's betrayal, he had developed a cruel practice. Each night he would marry a new bride, only to have her executed the next morning, believing this would prevent any future treachery. The kingdom trembled under this terrible decree, as family after family lost their daughters. But there was one young woman who believed she could end this cycle of violence: Scheherazade, the daughter of the king's vizier. Despite her father's protests, she volunteered to marry the king. Scheherazade was no ordinary woman. She was a master storyteller, versed in poetry, history, and the tales of 1,000 kingdoms. On her wedding night, she began telling the king a story so captivating that he couldn't bear to have it end. But dawn approached before she could finish, and at a crucial moment, she stopped. "I'm afraid I cannot finish the tale," she said, "for morning has come, and I must face my fate." The king, desperate to hear the story's end, declared, "You shall live another day to finish this tale." But the next night, when Scheherazade finished that story, she immediately began another, even more intriguing than the first. Again, she stopped at dawn at the most exciting part. Night after night this continued, with tales of genies and sailors, princes and paupers, magical creatures, and ordinary people facing extraordinary circumstances, including famous stories like Aladdin, Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves, and Sinbad the Sailor. For 1,001 nights, Scheherazade wove her tales. She told stories of adventure and romance, of wisdom and folly, of redemption and second chances. Through her stories, she showed the king the complexity of human nature, how people could be both good and bad, how circumstances could change someone's fate, and how love and mercy were stronger than hatred and fear. As the king listened night after night, his heart began to change. He saw wisdom in Scheherazade's words, and more importantly, he saw it in her character. Her intelligence, creativity, and gentle spirit had transformed him. By the 1,001st night, he had fallen deeply in love with her, not just with her stories. The king declared that Scheherazade would be his queen for all time, having proven that she was not just his wife, but his equal, someone who had used wisdom and courage to save not only herself, but countless other women who would have followed her. And so, the tales of 1,001 Nights became legend, remembering how a brave storyteller used the power of narrative to transform anger into understanding and vengeance into love. Scheherazade's story reminds us that sometimes the greatest changes come not through force, but through the simple act of telling stories that help us understand one another better.